Alright, so in today's video we'll be discussing Valorant sensitivity. A lot of players tend to have issues with their sense. They tend to blame their aim on their sensitivity and that their sense is off or it isn't working for them. I'm here to talk about that, and the first thing I'd like to jump into is the fact that it most likely isn't your sense that's causing you issues. It's simply just your game sense, or you don't have enough training, not enough muscle memory, not enough practice. For a lot of players, that is the case, or perhaps it's like, again, your game sense. You don't have enough understanding of the game's mechanics to know where to place your crosshair. Seem to be lagging in the game a little bit. I'm not sure why that's happening. But for some players, that would be the case. Their crosshair placement has nothing to do with their sense. As a player, I play on 1. I've never touched my sense. I've been playing Valorant for 3 years. I'm peak plat 1, and I've never touched my sense, and I play just fine. The headshots I hit, they're not the most. I don't have the best aim in the world. I'm not tens, but I can hit headshots quite consistently, especially in game. When I'm serious and I'm not talking, I'm able to hit headshots quite consistently, and I've never touched my sense, as you can see. So for most players, that would not be the issue. What your problem is the fact that you're spraying too much. Like, say the target's 30 meters away, you're spraying too much and you're missing all your shots. You don't understand when you're supposed to be tapping like this, and perhaps you're not placing your crosshair properly. So you're aiming feet level, you're not aiming head level. Perhaps if you're on a staircase, it gets a little harder to aim head when you're lower than the opponent or higher than the opponent. So say, for example, I was on these stairs. I have to place my crosshair differently. This lag seems to be consistent. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. But you see, I have to change my crosshair placement. To do that, most people just need to learn how to track the enemy's head. So if you were to go over to these bots in your practice range, you can just place your crosshair on any of the bots' heads, and from like a fair distance away, you just want to track their heads. You want to keep tracking them, get used to it, and that'll be how you get used to your sense. Without ever having to change it, you can just play on 1. But let's say, for example, you don't have much desk space, or your mouse is uncomfortable, does not fit your hand properly. You can change it. You can up your sense. One of the ways players like to do this is doing a 360. So you want to face like a pillar or a wall, and this will be our marker, this bullet hole right here. And if you were to turn all the way, you should see that your mouse goes all the way back down, and you have that much desk space. Like, your mouse is extended all the way across your desk, and you're able to do that comfortably. A 360, you're able to do it comfortably. Most people would say, well, I don't need to do a 360. Valorant isn't that kind of game. You don't really need to do that, but this is just find what sense you're comfortable with. The 360, most people prefer 180, like that. Just flick back, right? If you're able to do that, that's even better than the 360, just this. If you're able to keep your aim consistent. If you overshoot it, then you need to decrease your sense. I'm not very good with the 180, personally. I'm better at just tapping heads like that, as you can see. But for you, if your desk space isn't enough, then you could up your sense, perhaps. If you have a small space to play with, you could increase your sense to 2 or 3, or even decrease it if you're not good with that. As you can see, this is much faster now. Just a little bit of a turn and I'll be there. But let's say you're overshooting. When you aim and you're flicking. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, hold on. Just changing that back to 1. Now let's say I'm trying to do a 180. And I'm overshooting. So I aim at the dot and I flick 180 and I'm overshooting. I'm going over there. Then you can decrease your aim. You can do that gradually by going over to this board and just type and just like shooting. So now my aim sense is 0.7. So let's take this pillar, for example, make that our point, and I turn. See, I'm undershooting this time because I'm used to 1. You'd have to turn much more with more desk space. You'd have to turn more. So that's how you would do that. And then just based off of that, that's just purely desk space. That has nothing to do with your skill or any of that. Perhaps your mouse is big and bulky, so you need more space for it. That's the only reason you would ever change your sense. Otherwise, this practice with the bots is the only thing you should ever do. Or you're just playing the game more. Pure muscle memory, and that should be all you need. or if you're looking for more advanced ways to fix your aim, I'd recommend looking into recording your gameplay. So, for example, you're in a comp, you're in unrated, and you notice that you're aiming body level or leg level. So you would try to correct that. You'd take that as a mental note, and the next time you play your game, based off of that previous recording, you'll see that yes, you're aiming at foot level. You'd correct your crosshair. You'd aim head now. Then just practice off of that. Play more games. Make sure that you are keeping your crosshair head level, and your sense really should not be a problem. It's purely just muscle memory, relying on your own wrist and or perhaps if you play with your arm, just your muscle memory in general. Practice is perfect. Practice makes perfect. That's all I have to say for you. You really do not need to tamper with your sense much, but well, if you've had any doubts with Valorant and your aim recently, I hope this video has helped you out and you will proceed to do better in your games. And I'll catch you guys at a different time.